Hello everyone, it's Lady J here with yet another video for you. This one is going to be part 3 of the series that I'm doing right now called Do You Have a Forgiving Heart? And in this video, we're going to come with some examples, some biblical examples, that have forgiving hearts and the purpose behind that. Before we do, we already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share, and you can leave a comment as well. Let's get started. Okay, so one of the things that I'm mostly seeing in society now is we hear a lot of people are speaking of the fact that um, mental illness is the reason why a lot of people are going around doing horrible things, killing and maiming, and just out of control. And so they're using mental illness as that excuse for that behavior, as opposed to putting the behavior on the person that is doing this. So that's what motivated this particular one, because when I go into the Bible, I see examples of people who had, in some horrible situations, that have forgiving hearts. So it can't just be a simple fact of well, things happened to me and that's the reason why I did it. No, because we have examples of that. And that's one of the beautiful things that I do love about the Bible. It have examples of how to get through this life, and it gives examples of people who've lived their lives, and the stories we can get out of it, the strengths that we can gain from reading about their lives. One of the things, one of the darknesses that want to get in, and we see this a lot, is the spirit of offense. People are offended by everything. I don't like the way she look, her skin color, her hair. The sun is out. People find any excuse. Gay, straight, whatever. People find any excuse to be offended. That's because the spirit of offense has set in, and the Bible speaks about that. In the last days, a lot of people would be struggling with this spirit of offense, and that has a lot to do with having an unforgiving heart as well. Because these things are piling up. Once that spirit of offense get inside of you, it sees everything as a reason to be offended at whatever the case may be. People, places, things. I don't like the sign. I don't like the color. I don't like the flag. I don't like, that type of thing. So you already know that that's not from God. It couldn't possibly be. That level of confusion could not possibly be from God. And so this is one of the reasons why He created forgiveness. As a matter of fact, I spoke about that in the very first series, the very first video, when I spoke about what the purpose of this forgiveness. And that's one of the reasons God did not want the spirit of offense, the spirit of fear, the spirit of control, the spirit of deception, all of these different types of spirits that want to get a hold of you and ruin your life. When we allow this stuff to get inside of us, these are some of the things that when we learn to forgive, it conquers those. But like I said, we have to do the work. We have to do the work. One of the things I found in the Bible that I really, really love is in the book of Proverbs. And it's Proverbs, what was it? Proverbs 8:12 through 22. And it goes beyond 22, but just start at Proverbs 8:12. I love this because at this particular moment, wisdom is speaking. Actual wisdom is speaking, and it mentions that God, when God got ready to create the earth, that He used wisdom to do it. He created wisdom and then incorporated that into Him in order to create the world that we live in now. The point that I got out of that is that when we're speaking of things like forgiveness, whatever, it's a lot of different topics I'm going to speak about. But these positive gems that God has given us, these strengths, these powers, these protections that God has given to us, we are supposed to be incorporating these into who we are. We are supposed to become this. That's one of the reasons why when I think it was Peter and Jesus was speaking in the book of Matthew, and Peter was asked, well, how many times do I have to forgive? Okay, how many times I got to forgive? And so Jesus' remark was 70 times 7. And I love that. I don't think he meant any, you add that up. I don't think he meant that's when you get to that number, now you can stop and then you can start, hating. I don't think that's what he meant. I think what he means is the more you let go of things, the more you learn to forgive, it becomes a part of who you are, to the point that it is who you are. You just automatically learn to forgive. And I think that's the point he was making with Peter. You have to continue to go forth with these so it can become a part of you. And God gave us an example of wisdom I created wisdom in order to place within me so I can go out and create the things that you see. Just like we always hear where God is love. Why is God love? Because God created love and made it a part of who he is. It has nothing to do with, your sinning and all of this. Oh, God don't like me because I'm sinning. God, no. God is love. So it's not a matter of I hate you because you did that. I love you because you did that. Yay, go. It's not even about that. So I wanted to make mention that forgiveness is what we are supposed to be incorporating in us to help us get through this world. Because we have reasons to be offended all day long. Trust me, I'll drop the ball on this as well, just like everyone else. But we have things that come at us that will cause us to be offended all day long. So we need to learn to forgive and walk forward, and let things go, because we have a long way. If you live to be 80, 90, 100, whatever you're going to live to be, you got a long way to go. You don't have time to be incorporating this. But this is what you see was happening in a lot of people nowadays, especially people that are not rooted in the word, have no idea what's in this Bible. The gifts, the powers, the strengths, the protection, because God's word is a protection. It keeps you protected from the forces of darkness that are trying to get in. So one of the things I want to do in this one is I want to give some biblical examples. My first one I want to give is Stephen. Stephen is found in the book of Acts. And I love this one because Stephen was a person that the Bible speaks of. He was full of faith and the Holy Spirit. So he was straight up a godly man right there. So he was speaking to these people who he was pretty much letting them know who Jesus was and what you guys did to him. They didn't want to hear all of that. You can read the story and put in all the rest of the parts. I'm just getting to what I need to get to. So at the time, they were offended by him. So they decided, okay, we're about to kill him. And they stoned him, throwing rocks at him. Just think about that death. People throwing rocks at you. There's a lot of boulders being thrown at you. Anyway, so at the time, Stephen was having these rocks thrown at him. They was, attempting to kill him. The heavens opened up to him, and he was able to see in the spirit realm at the time this was happening. That had to be a beautiful experience for him. And so he's mentioning this, oh my God, I see the heavens and whatever. So he's telling God, do not assign this sin to them. And that's the point I wanted to get to. Why this guy is being stoned to death, people throwing rocks, people he haven't done anything to in his life are killing, they're literally killing him. And at the time that this is happening, he's asking God, do not put this sin upon them. And that takes me back to the point that I was making earlier when I said that you're going to have to give an account for the things you do. So he's saying that this murder that they're doing, don't even add this to their account, because he probably know they already got 1,000 other things. But I love his heart, because you see what I'm saying? When you keep your heart on positive things, when you keep your heart in a state of forgiveness, he said he walked in according to faith. And so he was a godly man. Obviously, a lot of good things had got inside of him, to the point that even when he was dying, they were literally killing this man, murdering this man. He was asking forgiveness for what they were doing. Forgive them. He wasn't saying forgive me for my sins or whatever. He said forgive them. And I really love that. So when you hear people talk about, well, I lost it and blah, 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 and this other type of thing, or any other type of excuse, that's because they've allowed darkness. They've allowed darkness to get inside. Sometimes my brain have so many different things going on and it's just like jumbo. I have to learn to control that. Anyway, so they've allowed, some people live off a diet of darkness, because you got to understand, this world is designed to be the total opposite of what God had created. With the chaos and the darkness, everything is designed to be the total darkness. That's why you can't look at the news unless it's 1,000. It's just constant barrage. You go outside, you see things. It's just designed to tear away at your goodness, at your faith, at your ability to love, at your ability to forgive, your ability to just be in joy and be joyful and happy. It kills that as well. So I just wanted to bring that point about Stephen. Even at the point of death, he still had a pure heart. He did not allow this world to take that away from him. And why and how did he do that? He stayed rooted in the things of God. Because when you're rooted in the things of God, then darkness it's going to try to get in, but you have something to fight it off with. You're within that realm of protection. Another person I wanted to bring up, I want to bring up Jesus as well. We already know him on the cross. God forgive them for they know not what they do. I love this because even it showed us even at the time when he was getting ready to die, he also was asking God to forgive these people for what they were doing, because they don't have a clue what it is they're doing. His death was a part of God's purpose, but they had no idea. They were just human beings, and with full of evil and fear, because they knew that they felt he was going to take over. We got to get rid of him. He's going to take over, type of situation. But I like that because it showed that before Jesus left this earth, he cleared his heart. He wanted to let you and me know that you and I know that his heart was pure before he left this planet. And that's the thing, a message I don't really hear people talk about, but you have to keep yourself pure, because you never know when you're going to leave this planet. But he was showing us, even when these people are killing me and doing all of these things to me, I came here to die for their sins, to make sure they have a way to get back to the Father, a connection with the Father. That's what I am. I'm the mediator. But in that moment, he was still a human. Because he was like, Father, why have you forsaken me? God had to pull away his protection, his love, pull everything away from Jesus so he can feel that humanity, that what he was dying for, he was able to feel that. And even in that midst of feeling all of the world's pain and hatred and all of this stuff at him, he was still asking forgiveness. So there is no excuse for us to sit around here and just allow darkness to just fester in us when God has given us tools and protections for us to function within. So we don't have to be this way. We can continue to go through things in life and still have humanity's best interests at heart. That's one of the things that I love. Last person I want to speak of, I don't want to make this too long. Last person I want to speak of course, is going to be Joseph, which is one of my favorite situations in the Bible. Of course, Joseph's situation was he had family problems. Okay, who don't? Okay, who doesn't have that? So he had family problems. His brothers are jealous of him, mainly because the father loves him the most. And these are his half-brothers as well, because his father loved him the most. He made him this special coat because Joseph, he really loved Joseph. And he really loved Rachel. And Joseph was by Rachel as well. But the Bible said it was because Joseph was, his son of his old age, but I really think it had a lot to do with Rachel, because he was crazy about him and Rachel. Read the story in Genesis. But anyway, so of course they hated him. The Bible said they couldn't even say a kind word to him. So they saw him coming one day. They decided to, we're going to throw him in the ditch. Whatever happens, happens. And one person, no, we're not going to throw him in the ditch. We're going to sell him. And, they were also jealous because he had this dream. He was telling them about these dreams he had. So their mentality was, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and sell him. Then we're going to see what happened to his dream. So you got to understand, sometimes people will detour your life because they see something on you that they don't possess, and they want it gone. If God's going to do all this, let's see how he's going to do it. Okay, read the story. You see how God did. Anyway, so Joseph gets to Egypt, and he becomes, second in charge of Egypt. Read the story. And so his brothers finally get back in touch with him. Read the story. You'll see. His brothers get back in touch with him. And so Joseph revealed who he is to his brothers. And so, they, oh my God, we're scared and all this other type of thing. But Joseph was like, look, what you guys meant for evil, God meant for good, because he needed to,